activities showcasing the best of the Nigerian music, dance, crafts, fashion, and businesses. Taking place at the Gilles Square / Voltage Jazz Club, Daston, London. Postcode N168AZ. Date 28 July 2024. Tickets are available on eventbrite.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit superiorradioandtelevision.com. Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or call +4407459513619 or +4420363287555. Come and experience the nation's culture that resides in the heart and in the soul of its people.
Hello, it's a very, very good morning to you from Daddy Chris, all the way from Srtv, London. I'm right here for you this morning. Yes, this is Wake Up Nigeria, and this is Srtv. We do a lot. We're just working on the Nigerian week, and we always take our time to share what is happening in the country with you. Some of them you might agree with our hard opinion. Some of them, some people don't agree. But I said, we're here to present it as it is. And like I always say, we will not lie against anybody. We won't lie for anybody. And we will continue to say it as it is. On this very gracious morning, my people, a lot is happening in our country, Nigeria. And it is up to us to decide where we're going as a people. Only thing I always say to you is, are you satisfied with the life you're living? Whether you're rich, poor, Muslim, Christians, are you satisfied with the life you're living? We can be better. Nigeria is the biggest black nation on earth, blessed with every natural resources, and the potential of the Nigerian kids, the people, is enormous. But today we are all over the world, scattered. The few ones at home are suffering massively from the hands of the politicians who are mismanaging our resources, unfortunately. But there will be a time when we're all going to ask ourselves, is it the fault of the politicians alone? Are you a part of all this? What can we all do to save the nation for our children? Now, this is one important thing. I do know that we can't continue to blame others. I always ask myself, the blame always starts from me. And perhaps that's the difference between me and any other person. I've never seen anybody wrong in what I do. I know I've suffered a lot of broken relationships in my life. And I always say that the Chris is at fault. Even if I don't want to admit it, the truth is I am a part of it. It takes two to tango. You're blaming the Nigerian government because you allow him to be there. Because when they give you 20,000 naira, you think you've arrived. They give you one ship appointment. Ship appointment, I mean it, I say it. And give you one big title, you think you've arrived. And we happens to be the most greedy generation. Of all, we are the most greedy of all generations. That is the thing I want to look at today. But I'll build on what I spoke about last week when I said that we cannot succeed alone. We cannot succeed alone. And many of times I like to go back to the Bible. Even though Mary would not agree with me that I'm a Christian, but I always use the Bible in my reference. Because many of us are very good Christians, and I can see many of you there. The part that interests me in the Bible is not the part that may interest you, but I just want to take you back. Last week, I brought a very big topic, and I said, God asked us. That was even before we sin against God. It was his instruction that he put us on earth, and he said we should till the land. That was the it was not the punishment. It was an instruction from the Creator. That's the beginning. God created the heaven and earth. In the second part of chapter 2, he was telling us to do the needful, to reproduce what he has started. Why did you think God created us? to just put us here and eat and be fools. No, God created us to create, to recreate. And I always said, man has recreated, except Africa, except you in Nigeria, that thinks you can eat money and just be like a fool. Like I said, I gave an instance that when I was flying down into Heathrow Airport a year ago, something fascinates me, man. I was looking up. Those days when we sing in the firmament, you know, it's the beauty of the firmament. We look at the sky, we look at the sun. It's beautiful. You know, the sun, the stars are beautiful. And that was the firmament of that time. But when I look down and I look at what man has created, as I was descending Heathrow Airport, I see London from above. It was beautiful, man. That is how much God created us so that we can multiply what he has created. I will put that. God has created us so that we can multiply what he has created. And we've not done that as a people. As black people, as Africans, we've lagged that behind. And there's a punishment for it. But today I want to focus on another portion of the Bible. Mary will want to listen to this when I bring her in now. I want to bring Mary quickly in. And Mary, what I'll be talking about today, what I want to talk about today is the power of being together. Togetherness. And that we see in the Tower of Babel. And I'm going to quote God. I'm not quoting. I'm not looking for what Jesus Christ said, what the other people say, because we are all Christians, Muslims, we agree with the Old Testament. So I'm using the Old Testament to talk to you Nigerians, to tell you how God behaves and how God has instructed us. The only time we were able to do things that surpass the expectation of God was when we came together and we started to build the Tower of Babel. We said, we're going to see you, God. Wherever you are, we are coming. We were doing it. He thought it was a joke. We stick together. We stick together. And God said at a point in time, look at these people. If we leave them alone, they're going to really get to us. Power of wanting. What do you take from there? Because we were together. You know what God did? He gave us the biggest punishment of our time. The only reason we started speaking different languages, if not the whole language on earth. So that is why you can separate yourself today. Mary, when Mary come on board now, she's going to say, I'm an Igbo girl. When I call Mary, sometimes Igbo girl, I say, I'm not an Igbo girl. You see, because you can never immediately associate with what you are not. And that is what God has created in us. He has ejected on our DNA, and now we are suffering from it. When we are divided, we fall. And I'm going to take a look at that as we analyze the topic of today. The importance of living together as a society or succeeding alone. Nigerians today will survive alone, will succeed alone. The implication is now we map our own security alone. We drill our borehole alone. We eat alone. We farm alone. We do everything alone. We marry alone. If we had come together and do it, we can beat anybody. And I'm going to use this simple example before I bring my guest in this morning. In my time here, a few years ago, in Europe, and I'm going to say this because I'm launching a show for Africa very soon. In Europe, there were different countries. There are still different countries. But they came together. They realized one thing, that if they come together, they're going to do something big. They did it to fight their insecurity because they were not secure. Russia was always on their shoulder. Chinese is there. They have to align with America, yes, but they now formed the NATO. It's not about NATO alone. They said, no, NATO is not going to solve this. For us to be united in NATO, they decided to come together and form the European Union. European Union has reinforced the power of NATO in line with America, so they feel more secured. That's why they can talk with one voice today. Come, Russia, you can't do this, and they're speaking with one voice. But this is the part I love. The economy becomes stronger. They now travel within the countries. You can now relocate. In fact, when it was open, those of us in the UK, we felt threatened because a lot of skilled forces came from Bulgaria, from Romania, people of their own kind. They come into the UK to take up the jobs. I guess most black people don't understand that Brexit was actually favoring them. Oh, hello. I will talk about that on another day. What I'm saying is, the implication is they were able to reinforce, they now live together as one. But guess what? The individual currency, I don't know. I have stayed in Slovenia. They have what we call the Slovenian dollars. It's like a piece of paper. The highest currency you can think of is the Dutch mark, which is way, way lower than the US dollars. Today they came together, they come up with one thing, and they come up with the euros. Today the euros is higher than the US dollars. I bet you in the next few years the euro is going to be higher than the pounds. What are you talking about? The power of coming together. What have we done as a people? The Tower of Babel is here to stay. Are we going to take advantage of it? Are we going to go back to that history? That is what we'll be discussing a lot today on this show. But let me bring my beautiful girl in. Mary, you just a snub me. How you doing?
I'm fine. Good morning, Daddy Chris.
Morning. Your sometimes they go the dark or the black or the dark. And the beautiful Mary.
We just have to manage it.
All right. So how are you? How are you?
I'm fine, Daddy Chris. How is London this morning?
London is what it is. You see me wearing my nice suit and I'm happy. It is what it is. Weather is, London weather now, before you know it's raining, all of a sudden it's nice. So you cannot predict whether it's going to be cold the next minute or it's going to be hot. But it is summer, officially summer, and we're having a good time, to be honest. We're having a great time. Weather is good.
I'll say we've got stable rain in Abuja. Even this morning it rained. This morning, so maybe this is what will be in for maybe for like 4 or 3 months, because this rain will be on till maybe October or November or so. It just started. Wow. And it's disturbing already.
Anyway, rain is a good thing, because during the rainy season, I remember my Jack Fasek said, "Send down the rain. The rain will wet the ground. There's always a season for rain. The essence of it is when the ground is wet, the plant will begin to grow, will blossom, and we have food to eat." Perhaps rain is a good thing, Mary. It's not always it's not always a bad thing. And no, I mean, we human beings, we can't stand the inconveniences of the rain, but hey, the rain is a necessary part of our ecosystem. Well, Mary, today it's on the 8th of July. And the other part of the year. Nigeria week is around the corner, so I'm thinking and I'm panicking. Anytime I wake up in the morning, I'm asking myself, how prepared are we? I don't know, those of you that don't know, if you organize this event, you know what I'm saying, man. It can be nerve-wracking, but we're coping. But let's look at Nigeria today, Mary. I was talking about very important issue, Mary. Very, very important. And I hope we have Dr. Charles to join us today. And once it has just come in, we're going to look at the dynamics of the politics in Edo State, because I heard that their governorship aspirant, the PDP governorship aspirant, has been that the court has nullified his election. The primaries. So technically, PDP have no candidate as it is. But I know the court, they will fight it out. But this is not the right time to be fighting PDP. Obaseki, this year they know how to twist you. Last time you were able to escape from APC because they wanted to stop you, and you escaped to PDP. Maybe you'll be able to escape this time. Obaseki is a survivor. Let's hope that Obaseki will overcome this one.
We survive this one.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Okay. But before we go into that, Mary, let's look at our country, Nigeria. And it's really disturbing, And today I give instance to what happened in the Bible, the Tower of Babel. I know you're familiar with that story. It was from the Tower of Babel that you're now an Igbo girl, and I'm now an Urobo man. That we have the British, we have the different languages. You understand? Before then, the world was speaking one language. I don't know what that language was. God has taken that language away and has given us a different language. So we are different now.
Are you sure it's not English? Are you sure it's not English that everybody was speaking there?
It was never English. It was never French. It was something else. God intentionally gave everybody his own. The English are very smart. They colonized the world, so they brought their language, you understand? And that is why we're all speaking English today. We have to give credit to them. I'll be happy if they make English the official language of the world, because sometimes in even international events, they speak English. I was trying to listen to what they were speaking in Germany during this World Cup, that England was not, this one hosted in England, but the English is dominating. The reason being, America sold English language in the movie. The British colonized the world in English. So we are here speaking English. Congratulations, English. But okay, before this time, they were all speaking one language. Like Mary said, it might be English. If the world speaks one language, there will be more understanding.
That's true.
That is the power of coming together. That's what God used to punish us. You know, because there was a time human being came together and said, we want to meet you, God. The implication is, Mary, that if we stick together, there's nothing we cannot achieve. And this is the simple thing. No, I came up with one time and I said to my own people, let us form a cooperative. You understand? And I call that cooperative Urobo Commonwealth. I still give it to them as a package. That if they come together under that platform, they will grow their own wealth. They will secure themselves. They can do anything. If human being comes together, to hell with anybody that chooses to be against them. Even God couldn't. God could not stop us.
That's true.
When we came together, God could not stop us. God had to devise a way to disintegrate us. That was the only way he could stop us. If we were to physically, he couldn't stop us. If God could not stop us, who are you on earth to stop the unity of mankind? So the problem we have in Nigeria is individualism. We want to succeed alone. We want to be the big man. Sometimes we want to be the star, so we fight tribal war. That is a problem. And we're going to try and analyze that carefully, Mary, today. This is my take. I am of the belief that if a community, my village, if everybody come together under one leadership and say, we want to be secured in this town, nobody can penetrate that town. Let me repeat that. If a small village will come together and say, we choose to be secured, we're coming with one mind. Anybody that penetrates us, we will attack the person. We attack the person in one fox. There is nobody on earth that can penetrate and pick one of you. No matter how powerful, even God cannot even penetrate that village and take person away. The only time we can be penetrated is when one person has betrayed us. You understand? Last time I said, they said there is insecurity in my place. There are kidnapping people in my village. And the people they are kidnapping are the big boys, the wife of the big boys. And I say, if this boy is somebody that come from far, how did he know your wife? Why did he not go and kidnap the wife of a poor man? They went to kidnap the wife of the guy who is doing well. Because they want money. The devil is within us. The traitor is within. Mary, I'm going to use Africa, then come home to Nigeria. Today, if you're in Africa, Ghana have cedis, Nigeria have naira, the other one has CFAs. Count the different stupid currency we all have in the place. Stupid currency that goes nowhere. In my show I'm launching, I'll be talking about the new African currency. I'm going to propose it. It's already out there, but I'm going to ring it like a bell. If we had one currency in Africa, it would be fighting the dollar today. You will not hear the naira is down, the naira is dead. No, there's no way the whole of African afro, let me call it afro, can be done against the dollars. Because it will be big market. We are one people, Mary. We can then strike with
the African money is down. If the African money is down, you understand, beyond the dollar, then there's a problem. But the thing is, how can we have one African currency?
That's the question.
That's going to be difficult. Tinubu is their president, ECOWAS, right? So yes. What are they doing?
No, these are
they re-elected him again recently.
Maybe the people, don't mind them. The people that created Africa, they made us have independence. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, he's one of those, the mind behind the fight, and he was saying that we should forget about these different countries. That when we used to power the division that makes us be, we will never be able to succeed as Africans. And that's what we are going through today. We have never been able to succeed as Africans because we have not listened to those that created us. When Dr. Nkrumah was fighting for the African state, he was emphatic, he was clear that we should come together and form the unit. In fact, he said in his time, they're fighting for the liberation of Ghana, independence of Ghana. But his children, we fight for the United States of Africa. Mary, look at
Wow.
what happened. Europe now have European Union. They are still going to come together. A time will come, Europe will come together as one. All this division they are seeing now, all the other countries, Romania are going to join EU. A time will come, Russia will join Europe. You understand? This enemy is not there. A different person will come up in Russia, a different person will come up in Europe. They will begin to think and they will come together and they will form the European Africa, in fact, the European states, the United States of Europe. That's where they are going. We have the United States of America already. The only reason America is big, they are strong because they are one, Mary. But if you go to Africa, as poor as we are, we have Guinea, Togo, Mali, Benin Republic itself is not a state in Africa. It's not even up to a state in Nigeria. It's a country of its own. What are you doing as a country? What are they fighting for? At the end, they are not. They don't have independence. Africa is rubbish. I'm using that as an instance. So let's bring this matter home. Let's leave Africa because today is not about Africa. Today is about Nigeria. And I'm going to break it down to the simplest form of it so we can understand. Today, Mary, you see an average person in Nigeria. When you have money, you build your own house. No town planning, even though thank God government managed to interfere. So you build the house as you like. You can build 10-story here, and the next place you can build a hut, the next place. No town planning. If you come to Europe, if you come to London, maybe as you look one side, the houses are exactly the same on the street. That's the beauty of London. That's the beauty of Europe. It's planned. The same kind of house is what they build. I think they're doing that in Abuja now. You cannot build one small here and one build one there. What kind of rubbish is that? Because we live in alone. An example, we have a disorganized society already by look. And when I now build that one, I will now mount a mountain fence. Because maybe the only reason we're mounting that high fence because we want to secure ourselves. And you are securing yourself alone. Yet you are not secured.
That's true.
Mary, how good and how pleasant will it be say if we choose to say, okay, from among us, every day, in that day when we're Lagos, we will say these people will go out for security to guide today. We call them watch night. We donate some people to go and watch over, you understand? And we pay for those people securing us. Instead of paying for security for your own gate, how about paying security for the town?
But they still do it. They still do it.
Yeah, but will it not be cheaper and more effective?
It is, but even they have general security that guides a particular place. But a lot of people are still not comfortable with it. They still have their private security. You know, we are Nigerians now.
And that's the problem. Not believing in it alone is equal to not even doing it. If you had done it with all your heart, with all your strength, those guys, when they were doing the Tower of Babel, they were doing it with all their strength. They were bringing every rock. So every security measure, you put it into the town. Not to do one half in the same and half for yourself. Why are you securing yourself if the town is not secure? You are never secured at home if the town is not secured. Because the moment you step out of that your house, you will be attacked. And you can never, if Nigeria is not secured, even if you secure your village, the moment you come out of your town, you'll be attacked. It's the sense of that coming together that we lack. Now, Mary, look at it. I'm going to look at another sector. Hopefully, Dr. Charles will join us shortly. Look at another sector, education. Mary, some people have stolen so much money, they don't have enough money. Now, our education system has turned dabalu, don't dabalu. You know what they do? They now pay private teachers to come and teach their children at home. You know how many rich men have private teachers for their children? They know what I'm talking about.
Sure. They do.
Now, we now have private schools because the society schools has failed. Why is the society school failing? Because we did not put in together as one. If we had put in, like, you know what I said? The best institutions in Nigeria are our universities. They have the right land, they have the right structure, but they are failing, Mary. People will leave that kind of uniben and go to a private quad school, and they will graduate there and feeling better. That is how we have damaged our society. We've killed the place because we refuse to come together, Mary, as one. People will call it patriotism. My own is the greed of wanting to succeed alone. Mary, thank God you guys, with time now, you still travel with your international passport. When you hold the Nigerian passport, oh, Nigeria, come here. They will always pick you out because you're carrying Nigerian passport.
But
It's
why?
not because they, in fact, the name associated the Nigerian passport alone, they just see you as a criminal because that's who we say we are. We are not criminals, but that is what the world take us to be. The propaganda has sold us as criminals, as bad people. Politicians are always giving us all the bad name. They always steal the money and run away with it. So who's going to respect you? Now we have no respect in the Committee of Nations. Carrying a Nigerian passport is like you're carrying a disease. You have to defend yourself always. Talk to some guests even in Europe. They say from Nigeria, they will run. Very few can see. When they test us, they know who we are. I saw a very beautiful video yesterday, Mary. These Kenyan guys, they say na Nigerian men who say they are police, they warriors. So now when the Nigerian babe, muna hold us strong, otherwise Kenya will take. They slap us. As when they slap us, Kenya they take. They say we're not good, but Kenya will carry us take. But what I'm saying is, we have to keep defending ourselves as a people, which is not necessary. I'm telling you, I carry a British passport, Mary. Why do I not need a visa to go to United States? Why would not when I want to carry a British passport? I go to US easily. I go to every part of the world easily. If anything happened to me, the British government will say, hey, bring it back. Bring it back with respect. Our athletes that fought for Nigeria, they were humiliated. In Turkey, where did they pass Turkey they go? Nigerian government did nothing. There's an example of a society that is dead. So you carry that passport, you carry a dead passport. It has to stop, my people. Now the blanking Mary, she's coming back. You see that what I'm talking about? Nigeria, you guys blame me. They took our light too. Now light they take. It's nothing else. There's no light. So she had to struggle and come back. No light. Only in Nigeria. If I don't get light here, let me take my leg, destroy something. What is going on, my people? Mary, I can't see you. Your system is I won't put you back now until your system is clean up. So what am I saying, people? Is that we want to succeed alone. And you cannot succeed alone. If Nigeria have a better image, your passport will be better. You will fly to every country freely and come back home. How about that? If Nigeria is strong, if the whole of Nigeria is coming together, our economy will be stronger. Do you know that the money we are going to borrow? Let me say this to you. The money Nigeria is going out to borrow is with Nigerians. If we put our money together, we don't need to borrow a penny from the rest of the world. But let me bring you back quickly. Yes. Welcome back, Mary. Now don't come back from the darkness.
Okay.
I say you are back from darkness. We welcome you back. It's taking you out. Let Mary set herself up. We'll bring her back quickly. You see what I'm saying, people? It takes nothing to fix the problem of the Nigerian state. It's one to accept one another for who we are. Follow what they did in the Bible. Together, we're going to see God. Not as a Muslim, not as a Christian, not as a Yoruba man, not as an Igbo man. Together, because that is how God created us one before. He never created you as an Igbo man. God did not create you as a Yoruba man. God never created you as an Hausa man. He never created you as an English man. He created you as a human being. And if you are in one location, he has created a nation for you. You can take advantage of that and behave like those people of those days in Toa Babel. And together, God will come. He will not even go there. God was forced to come and attend to them. They were talking to God. God was not listening. They said, okay, we're coming to see you. What did God do? God said, these people, if we leave there, they're going to beat us here. So if you can understand that you are never born a Muslim, you are never born a Christian, you are never born a Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Urobo, Ibibi, call it. today see yourself as born Nigerian and use that identity to say to God, we are here as a people. And together we're going to be secured. Together we're going to have one economy. We cannot be poor. I'm going to use one instance before I go on. Mary, are you there now?
Yes, I'm back.
Beautiful, Mary. You know, I don't know whether you know of how powerful cooperative society have saved Nigeria today. You understand? Cooperative society. In those days, I thought it was a joke. No, lecturers were having difficulties. I use them assistants. Those of them always looking for guests to sleep with the guests and collect the money from the boys, and something saved them. They couldn't buy a car. That was not what the ability to buy a car. It was not that one that was helping them, but they were still poor. Then they came together. That every time they donate, they contribute their money. You understand? Into their cooperative. What they do now is they buy a bulk of drinks. They go there and buy. If you buy Coca-Cola from the depot, you know how cheap it's going to be. So you now say to your members, it's small price. Is that not cleverness? If I go and buy one Coca-Cola, it's expensive. But if my cooperative buy Coca-Cola and share for us, I'll buy it at a minimum rate. Is that rocket science? Mary, if you go to a company and say, I want to buy in quantity, what did they say for you? Lower wholesale price. And you share it among, and you now say share it among yourself. Who is stupid? It's not the same person that want to go and do it alone. That's the problem of the Nigerian state. That's the problem of the Nigerian state. Simple. Succeeding alone, you can never. And as I wish the Nigerians can listen to what I say today, it's a divine blessing. It's the kind of thing pastors should be preaching. But they don't preach that. They preach how they get money from you. The only reason a church is succeeding is people come together to form a congregation in one voice. You know what's annoying, Mary? You know why I don't like Nigerian church? Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. I tell you one reason why I don't like the Nigerian church. Why I don't like Adeboye. Why I don't like Oyedipo. Why I don't like Pastor Chris. Why I never like them. You know why? One thing. I said they have got a force. They now come together. They have these people in one folks. You know what I can do? Maybe if you tell a people in the church to donate one naira today, which will not affect my economy. If it will not affect anybody in that church and you give it to one man, that man is safe. The next day, you connect one naira, give to one. On a day in a church, you can save 50 people by just small donation of 2 naira. Like a Adeboye church. Those people become millionaires that very day, and they will be contributing the next day to the saving of another man's life. You know, Mary, the truth is, you have money, I have money. My money is not enough for me to start a business. Your own is not enough for you to start a business. But if we give me your own and I start, tomorrow I can give you my own and you start. That is the sense of cooperative. That is the reason people should come to church, not to come and pay tithe. If I see church, they don't do that, I'm not coming. You're a waste of space. Because
okay, let me ask you. I have to say they should scrap out tithe. Because it's in the Bible. So tithe
is not, yes, they analyze it. Different people have interpreted it. I don't believe in it. I don't pay it. I don't believe in it. Anyway, it's not going to stop me from progressing. Why people that don't go to church, they are progressing. So don't tell me it's tithe that's making me not to progress. Some people don't go to church. They make more money than you. Pay tithe every day. Where are you? No, fool. Tell you rubbish. Who you paying tithe to? For a man Adeboye that is badly rich. He said the last time that even being a man of God doesn't stop women from tempting him. The man, whether it is they wake up, I don't know. He said, see, they suffer, they see the old man like that. Let me rest. You understand? What I'm saying is this. It's very important, my daughter, that we are saying that the power of that church should be used for good thing. It should be used for the upliftment of mankind. That is what God said we should do. Oh, my God. You understand? God said if we should go and create. So, and if you use that power, that unity to create things, you can use it to create wealth. Maybe I'm telling you, if Adeboye want to today, if they change that church into what I'm saying, they may even have a bank. You know what I said to them? What stop Adeboye church from having a bank? the Redeem Bank, the Winners Bank, giving loan to their own people. So the people pay back and we have the loan to give to others. No, that's not their interest. Pay tithe so that the man can buy new aircraft. Who does that? Tell me about tithe. I go. My wife go come back. He will go back. He will go back straight to the pastor. Straight. Because there is no redemption there. And you know why I'm saying this? And I'm saying it with total clarity. I know many of you will condemn me today. But you can't condemn me. You know why? I looked at the Bible. The only time Jesus Christ was angry. Only time. Look at the Bible. The only time the man was angry. Tell me, Mary. Have you seen Jesus Christ angry?
Well, then you were telling something in the church. When they were making sales in the church.
He was
came
physically fighting them. What did he say? What did he say? You can't turn the house of my father.
The house of God is not a place for.
You're robbing people in the name of God, and you tell me that I cannot judge you. I not judge you. But where are you going to end up like that? I be mumu. I not be mumu. You understand? I not be mumu. So what I am saying today on this show is quite tight. It's quite tough. And it's hard. Timmy is joining us. Timmy is coming late these days. We are 43 minutes into the show. Okay, only 36 minutes. All right. If we can go back to the Tower of Babel and learn from that, and Nigeria will come together, knowing that Timmy we have here is not a Yoruba man. Timmy is a Nigerian. Timmy is not a Christian. He's a Nigerian. Timmy is not a Muslim. He's a Nigerian. Abdullahi is not a Christian. He's a Nigerian. You know, we will be working for Nigeria. And if we do that, even God cannot stop us. That is my take. That even God, because God could not stop the people that started the Tower of Babel. On that basis, I'm going to try and bring it to me to the show. Timmy, good morning and welcome to welcome to the show this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Yes. And how are you doing today?
We are looking. You guys are looking good. There's Timmy joining us from Port Harcourt, Mary and Abuja. Listen, I'm discussing something big today, Timmy, and I'm really concerned. I have blamed the problem of the Nigerian state, giving a lot of analogy to our need, our eagerness, our greed, our stupidity to want to succeed alone. And I said, you cannot succeed alone. And I went back. I took us back to the Tower of Babel. That in the Tower of Babel, God taught us something. That story tells us something. That if we come together, even God cannot stop us. If human beings come together, God that created us couldn't stop us. We saw it. We were building Babel. God saw these people. If we leave them, they'll come to us. What did they do? He disorganized us. That's why we speak different languages today. Believe it or not. The only reason you are Yoruba man, this an Igbo girl, and this is that. The one English man. Everybody scattered. That is the only way God could disorganize us. He did. And I said today that the only reason we are suffering in Nigeria is not even just this stupidity. It's because of that individual greed. I know nobody want to hear this. I give an instance to me. I look at Europe, where I've stayed for some time, and I said to them, before the European Union, before the EU, there were different countries here having their different economy. You know what? They were poor. Slovenia was using Slovenian dollars. The only money that was good was the Dutch mark. Yet it was lower than the US dollars. But when they now come with euro is higher than the dollars. Because they come together as a people, believe in one currency. Now they're working well. Look at Africa, for instance. You have this small money in Africa, this one in Nigeria, Naira, Safas, Ghana cities, rubbish that you cannot even cross a place with. And you know what they call themselves? They are proud. You see, and this is what Dr. Okrumah of Ghana was crying, that we need the United States of Africa. I said that I'm using that as an instance, but I bring the matter home, my brother. If you come to Nigeria now, your country, you guys there, the 90% of the challenge is because we want to succeed alone. And the insecurity we are facing is because, you know what? I have built my house. I can build my own fence. I can secure myself. Not knowing that if we come together and we use a community defense, there's no way we cannot defend ourselves. Good. Dr. Charles is joining us right now because we're going to change the topic from my personal discussion, which is my interest today, to something big because we want to discuss, want to take a look at what's happening. Anyway, people, because I have my two big guests already, and let me bring Dr. Charles in. Dr. Charles, you are mute, you are still mute, sir. Yes.
Good morning.
Morning. This is Dr. Charles Omorodio. He's a senior lecturer with Aden University here in London. He has done it all. So, Dr. Charles, it's nice to have you this morning, sir.
Pleasure. Thanks for being here.
Just know that Dr. Charles Omorodio, you know that Omorodio is somewhere from the great Benin Kingdom. All right, so he's right here. He's been the leader of the Benin people right here in the UK and even back at home. Doctor, we are pleased to have you this morning.
My pleasure.
Yes, right with me, Doctor, is Timmy. I call him Double T from Port Harcourt. He's Srtv head of the Borough there. He's always a very sound analyst and he's right here with us today as well.
Good morning, Dr. Charles.
Good morning.
Yes. So this morning, Doctor, I said I'm going to have you this morning for one important thing. What is going on in Edo State? Your state, I'm talking of Edo State. Your state, last time I had the opportunity to talk about what is happening in River State. But today, your state, you don't even have a candidate for the PDP. Obaseki has been a Maradona in those days. When they told him to leave APC, he decamped to PDP, he succeeded. Is he going to succeed again? That is what we are now watching. Maybe Doctor will have some insight into this difficult issue. Just let's wait for Doctor to come in. So that is the topic today, sir. Can Obaseki and twist the system again and save PDP, or is he going to decamp with this candidate to another party? What is going to be the solution? To me, this is a big day and it's a big discussion. Edo State election. But why would INEC? This is sometimes I don't understand. I know I study law and I can understand some of the rubbish. But what is the wisdom in waiting for this time to actually disqualify a candidate? What's the wisdom, Timmy? Are you there, Timmy? You know what? Everybody just left me alone. Maybe because I'm talking too much. They are going to come back. A very good morning. Yeah, Princess is not here. Princess is having some time off, but she will be back soon. Everything leaves. Princess will soon be here. All right, we're just gonna. Yes, Dr. Charles is back.
Yes, sorry, I had a little bit of technical problem.
Yes.
But yeah, I had your initial question or comment about whether Governor Obaseki will remain a Maradona in Edo State politics.
Yes.
I think the challenges at hand in 2024 is a lot different from what happened before. The dynamics is also very, very different. Yes, he's still having sway with PDP, but we have two formidable opposition candidates in the like of Senator Monday Okpebholo and Barrister Olu Akpata of Labour and Okpebholo of APC. And these are led to a significant sea change in the Edo politics, and a lot of intrigues are taking place. The campaign is favourably going on, but last week there was also an interesting development, which perhaps I think you might want to allude to later on. Okay. But suffice it to say that the PDP itself going into this campaign is not as united as you would have expected it to be. Unlike 2020, when the so-called legacy PDP gave Obaseki a landing to save him from the onslaught from the APC at that time.
That's true.
But the legacy PDP are at war with the current governor. Okay, and that brings another dynamic.
So there's a disintegration within the PDP. I heard that. And they call themselves the legacy. What is the legacy, Doctor? Just for those of us.
Well, legacy PDP had a structure going that's been piloting the affairs of the party over the years. And as you know, Obaseki was with APC. When Obaseki had problems with APC, was disqualified, he needed another party to be able to contest that election.
Yes.
So he approached many of the parties and decided to approach PDP. And PDP already had their candidate in the like of Honorable Gbede Iyama at that time,
Okay.
who was running the flagship for the party, a very formidable opponent at the time.
Okay.
But himself and other candidates were persuaded by the governor, Obaseki, so that he can fly the flag of PDP. When after much horse trading and promises behind the scene, they allowed him to become a flag bearer. They gave him a waiver
Yes.
and made him automatic candidate of the PDP. As they say, the rest are history because he went on to win
The election.
And became a PDP candidate or PDP governor.
Yes.
But when he came on board, the expectation was that the gentleman agreement they had prior to the election would be honored.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the governor did not honor any of those promises. He inaugurated his own cabinet, sidelined those who were piloting the affairs of PDP over the years, and those people became aggrieved. The chairman of that group at that time was Chief Dan Obe. He was not very happy. A lot of people that helped Governor Obaseki to power were kind of disappointed because most of their expectations were not realized. And that fight has been going on in the last 3 years, to the extent that he not really shortchanged those people who helped him to become a governor. They felt they've been treated very badly. And those people that were piloting the affairs of PDP before Governor Obaseki came in labeled themselves as the legacy PDP because they were the original custodians of PDP.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and the new people that was brought in by Governor Obaseki are more or less in charge, leading to this particular election. But they also felt that come this 2024 election, that at least it was an opportunity for him to extend an holy branch to them,
Yes.
by at least giving them the slot of the deputy governorship, which never happened. The current deputy governorship that is contesting, governor candidate that is contesting under PDP, was one of the strong hold of Governor Obaseki coming from APC, and the governorship candidate in the like of Igodalo was also unpicked by the governor. So both of these candidates were unpicked by the governor. They are governors, the Obaseki henchmen. And so the legacy PDP felt let down again, having sacrificed their candidate to give Obaseki a home.
Yes.
They felt they became tenants in their own home. So, that is the cross of the matter.
OMG. So Obaseki have that internal problem within the PDP. The legacy guys, I can understand them. I can understand where they're coming from. To become a tenant in your own home. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that's the cross of the matter in regards to PDP.
Interesting. And don't forget, the deputy had an issue. I mean, him was it Shaibu? Shaibu was having this issue. He wanted to contest. He was almost put in prison. I don't know where he is now. So really a lot of properties.
Well, Shaibu case is another interesting development because Shaibu stood firm, thick and thin with Obaseki, even when the days were going very, very rough with him. Obaseki could have been impeached in his first tenure when he had a falling out with Adam Oshomole. Remember, Adam Oshomole at that time was the
Yeah,
chairman of APC.
of the APC.
So
Yeah.
he has all the levers to be able to unseat Obaseki. And as at that time, members of the House of Assembly were all Oshomole's
Boys.
boys, if you know, for want of a better word, they were all Oshomole boys. So he had all the leverage to unseat Obaseki after that time. But the rumor has it that, in fact, not even rumors, we have it on a good um, evidence that suggests that there were actually efforts to impeach Obaseki in his first term. The person that made that impossible was Philip Shaibu, and he was loyal to Obaseki to the core and did everything to upset Oshomole. Remember, Oshomole and Shaibu are not just political father and son; they also family members. In fact, we've been told that Oshomole was one of those people that sponsored Shaibu when he was in university. So he was his father right from time, his uncle. So he
Okay.
went against his uncle, stood by Obaseki, insulted Oshomole to the extent that there was a time he told Oshomole if one Oshomole not to enter Edo State, that his safety will not be guaranteed. That's in the height of their conflict.
Shaibu.
But yeah, but Shaibu wanted to succeed Obaseki, having did everything possible. He has paid the price. He has invested heavily. He's well liked in his constituency, and he has the youth behind him. But Obaseki never wanted Shaibu to succeed him. But Shaibu wanted a fair play, which unfortunately he didn't get. And so the governor actually asked him not to contest, warned him not to contest.
Yes.
But Shaibu went ahead and wanted to enfranchise himself and became a candidate. As a result, as you know, all the political intrigues, he was impeached as a deputy governor
Mm-hmm.
just few months to this particular election, few couple of months ago.
Yes.
So
But
that created another enemy within the camp.
within the party. But let's be fair to the governor basically. The news reaching me is that there was an agreement, but I know in all states we have this zoning pattern that it was agreed that if data uh, central or Edo Central, Edo North, Edo East, I don't know how you have it, Edo South, Edo Central, Edo West. I know you have those zones in your area, and
Yeah,
that they
we have Edo Central, Edo South, and Edo North.
yes, that the agreement is if it is time for Edo South, I think the people from the Isha area, and
The Edo Central.
Edo Central, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
because the Edo North was the person of
Oshomole.
Shimole. And now we are
Oshomole,
in Edo
Oshomole.
South, which is Obaseki. And now it should be going to the guys in the middle. And if you hijack the process now, it might cause some kind of instability. Perhaps that is the reason why I have been told that's
But,
why the governor said it's not your time to go. Obviously,
but
go on, sir.
okay, but you
Yeah,
see, even at that,
Yes.
that the approach of Obaseki to Shaibu, I must say, in strong times, is condemnable. You can't treat your deputy who stood for you, who fought his political father, even in the face of trying to support you, make you to have a second tenure. Look, there's nothing wrong. You can as well say, look, my guy, sit down. Look, this is the reason why I can't support you. But not to get to that level where you ridicule the man, not only ridiculing him, embarrassing him as a deputy governor,
The
reducing
camp,
his
the,
powers, reducing
the, everything.
his
Why
allocation
is
to his
security
office.
guy? And we saw the security being moved. You saw that Shaibu, the security opposite Shaibu was removed. At the point in time, it was a shame. I was following the story carefully here, which is
it
so bad.
was completely emasculated,
That's the
which
right
was
word, sir.
which was
That's
wrong.
why use the right word already. Yes,
Completely emasculated, which was wrong.
it was.
The thing is that politics is about winning. It's about numbers. I understand for equity purposes, there was an unwritten gentleman agreement. It was not even agreed upon. There
Yes.
was an unwritten gentleman agreement that for interest of equity and fairness, and the way Edo State has been managed over the years, also learning from the time of Bender State, that every tribe, major tribe in the state, ought to be given the opportunity to present, to rule the state. And so there was this unwritten agreement that Edo South produced initially during the first, when this particular political dispensation came in, produced the like of Governor Igbinedion, and the slot now went to Edo North that produced Adamo Shomole.
Yes.
Igbinedion was there for 8 years. Adamo Shomole was there for 8 years.
Yes.
By virtue of equity,
It should have gone to
it
the
should
center.
have not gone to Edo Central. Although that was not written in stones, it wasn't carved in stone, but there was that gentleman agreement. But even at that, if that agreement was in place, there were people who were also as qualified from Edo Central to emerge as the candidate of the party. The governor did not have to go and bring a candidate from nowhere who had never been involved in the politics, overtly involved, because we understand he said he's been involved covertly, serving behind the scene as
Yes. Yes, sir.
one of the economic advisor, which we later found out. But this guy had not played meaningful politics. He was not known, even in his own village, because he didn't grow up in his village. He grew up somewhere in Lagos and Ibadan, so to speak.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that he's not an Edo indigent, so he has the right to be a candidate. But the people felt he was imposed on them, just as Obaseki was imposed on APC.
No,
And
doctor. Yeah, doctor. But based on what you said, Obaseki have no moral ground to even say Shaibu shouldn't go now, because as at the time of Obaseki emerged governor, it was the turn of Edo Central. If that is the case,
yes,
which never happened. You took it then. Why must it be now? Now you've taken it. It's like this man saying, what is his name the other time? Our Atiko said, "Oh, once I get power, I will give it to Southeast." Why not give it to Southeast now? It is their turn. You understand? Why take it first before you give it to them? You see, these are the things we are saying. So they take it when they have done my own. Now we can fight for justice. Thank you very much.
well, it's a politics of greed. That's unfortunately where we find ourselves. When, as they say, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I agree.
Someone is telling me that what's it called? That they should I should not forget the agreement they had. Which agreement did they have? Which agreement did they have? The agreement they had is not any agreement, because if you will not agree to what the person was saying initially, you're supposed to at least let them know that this is not proper. But for me, all I'm saying is that he should have at least just, there's a political way of settling these issues with, Shuaibu, to have avoided this kind of tussle. That's what I'm saying. Okay, look, you cannot go because there's an agreement that you should go to Central. But you can. There's a way you can settle, but not that
the truth is that
embarrassment.
Bible was flexing muscle. Flavor decided to do things in his own way. He conducted his own primary. He's not completely innocent in all this. If you agree with me,
you got to remember that Shaibu was a very strong candidate. In fact, Obaseki rode on the back of Shaibu. Shaibu had a structure. Obaseki was also a newcomer to Edo politics at the time. He was not known. The person that was known, who was mobilizing things, making things happen, was Shaibu. And Shaibu had not hidden his intention to run for governorship right from day one. It was towards the last minute that he was told in an uncertain terms that he should forget about his ambition. For
Okay.
somebody who has been involved in politics from university level up to House of Assembly, Federal House of Assembly, and he was
Yes.
elected into the Federal House of Assembly, and he was asked to now come and join Obaseki 1 year into his tenure as Federal House of Assembly. He had his own
Exactly.
political
Yes.
pathway carved for him, and for that to be
Yes.
truncated and now become a deputy to Obaseki, he paid a lot. He made a lot of sacrifice. And if you understand right from the very onset, he did everything. He was loyal to the core. He defended Obaseki to the core. And he felt that at least he should be given the opportunity to express his desire, not treated as a wimp. And he has followers. If somebody suddenly say to you, don't exercise your ambition, don't follow your ambition, do what I say, in this day and age, you will challenge them, especially having grown through the ranks and you've risen to a position of prominence. I think the problem was that Obaseki, by virtue of the way he has played his political role in Edo State, has promoted himself to a point of a dispute. Somebody who is very autocratic, Eugenio Crossing. And a lot of people didn't like that type of politics. Edo is a very different state
I don't know the Lagos. That's what I talk
from
about.
many of the other states.
Okay.
Edo electorates are very, very savvy. They are well educated. They are well informed. And they don't like this idea of godfatherism. That has been the recurring theme in Edo politics since the 90s. The idea of imposing somebody on the state.
Yes.
People find that to be an affront to their own intelligence, and they've always resisted it. People like Oshomole, when he imposed Obaseki on the people, they resisted it to some extent. But Oshomole was able to convince the people that, look, this guy is a technocrat. He was behind all his political achievement. And as such, the people bought into him. And if you remember what happened in 2020, when the now president came in and tried to use his
Yes.
political influence
Well,
to bring in a candidate of Pastor Zeya Moedo resisted to a large extent.
very clear.
So they
Very
expected that there should be a level playing field, and that aspirants should be given the opportunity to go to the field and test their popularity. I
that's true.
think that was what Shaibu was trying to do. But unfortunately, the person he served over the years was not somebody that is democratic in his disposition. He was more an autocrat. It is somebody that believes in do what I say and not do what I do. And
Yes.
that is what caused the majority of the problem. And apart from that,
Yeah.
the antecedent of Obaseki has shown that he's been very, very ungrateful to every person that has helped him to the position where he is. Even up to Wike, Wike
Yeah,
was among the people
Wike
that,
was there. Wike fought. Not that I like Wike though. Wike
yeah,
fought in the election. He was tell them if Tinubu could stay, he would stay. Then
yeah,
yeah, that was what happened. I we saw the
yeah.
drama.
But as soon as he came in, what happened? He turned his back on every single person that has helped him. So it's a sad state of affair in that particular political party.
Doctor, let's look at his relationship with the Oba of Benin. Because that's another area. I don't know whether the Oba is happy because I heard from the behind that there is a little bit of tussle in there from the happy first that was coming. So these things, is there any issue there? Is with the Oba or with the palace be happy with his choice this time around?
Well, well, this is a very contentious issue. It's a very issue that one has to handle with high degree of confidence. Yes, there is a some sort of misunderstanding between him and the palace. As you know, with the Nigeria constitution now, our traditional rulers' positions within the constitution is a little bit a difficult one, a delicate balance they had to make. But the Benin traditional institution has been going on for over 3,000 years. Before the current Nigeria came to be,
Yes.
Benin Kingdom was there. You know the influence of Benin Kingdom, and the Benin people as a whole hold to a high esteem their Oba. Our Oba is the God on earth. We respect him, and he's the father of all Beninese, regardless of political party. He's not partisan, but he sees everybody as in Edo State as his sons and daughters. But a problem ensued not quite long ago, particularly relating to the artifacts. When the issue of artifacts started to gain limelight, we have it on good authority that some of these artifacts were going to be returned uh, to Benin or to Edo State. The
Of which I know
governor had
you played it on your own part in bringing some of the artifacts from here home.
yes, yes, I did. I did. In fact, we just celebrated this Saturday the 10th year anniversary of the first artifact that was returned back to Benin. It was myself and Odionwe Council that orchestrated it, and we just celebrated that this Saturday. But maybe that is a discussion that we can have another day so that we
Yes,
can
we
explore how the
yes,
artifacts actually
yes,
got to Benin.
yes, I
But
really
in terms of the issue at hand,
yes, sir.
the governor wanted to create a museum of West African art
Okay.
to warehouse this artifact that is being returned. But the Oba of Benin was creating the vision to create the another museum within the palace ground,
Okay.
and he actually donated land uh, to warehouse this museum, and that is where some of the misunderstanding started. And the governor, being the executive governor of the state, felt that he should have sway, and so he started politicking with this artifact. And as things later turn out, Oba approached well, made a representation to the federal government, who was headed then by Muhammadu Buhari, and these artifacts were gazetted and to be domiciled with Oba of Benin.
All right.
And since then, Obaseki has not been very, very happy.
This is the
And
property of the Oba of Benin, and these
he is the property of the Oba of
taken
Benin.
from the palace. So
Yep,
if
originally in 1897, when these properties were looted,
we'll have the
they were
history.
looted from Oba
Yes,
of Benin Palace.
yes,
The history is there.
there.
If you Google it on the internet,
It's there.
there is no question as to who owns the artifact. But why Obaseki wanted to usurp it is something that is beyond our own comprehension. You know,
Perhaps making a museum out of it is important. It's just a question of location, and I think the palace.
now I think it was far more than that.
Okay.
It was far more than that. You can Google it. MOA Museum in the Corporate Affairs Commission. What Obaseki sought to do was to create a commercial enterprise with few people as the director of that commercial enterprise. So that museum was going to be a commercial endeavor owned by few people.
Ah,
So it wasn't owned by the state. So, in fact, some of the people that were going to be heading the museum, as we later found out, were not even Benin indigents. You know, I have no problem with our brothers and sisters of Igbo extractions, but from what we found out, this person was an Igbo person, which, by virtue of the sacredness of these artifacts, we would have found that to be very, very difficult to swallow. You see, people call it artifacts. They are not artifacts at all. They are things of historical ostentation to the Benin people. Some of them have certain spiritual connotations, you know. And like I said, when the time comes, we can delve into this aspect. But for now, we're talking politics.
Let's
But apart from that, there have been all sort of politicking happening. Recently, a group of people that we call Enigye sought uh, the support from the governor, but from what we are hearing, governors instituted it directly or indirectly, and they wanted to create an autonomous dukedoms in
within the kingdom.
Within the Benin Kingdom, elevating those dukes to the position of almost of an oba, to the extent that the case is even in court as we speak. They've had a first hearing, and effort have been made to ensure that this case is settled out of court. But it's never happened before. We don't take Oba of Benin to court, either the palace or to court. It's a sacrilege as far as the Benin people are concerned. And those are some of the things that he's done. That the palace, our palace will not come out openly to
say certain things,
to say things, but it's we, the indigents, that we come out and fight for our palace, because for the palace to come out and start making public statements, it will be seen as if the palace is involving in politics. Palace is above politics. Benin Palace is above politics.
Well,
but that's where we are.
Yes, I hope it doesn't get to what we see now in Kano, where you will not have to ever.
No. If Obaseki, no governor have that lever to be able to do that. Edo is not Kano. Benin is not Kano. Nice. If that were to happen, you will see the biggest civil unrest in the history of Nigeria. In fact, that could even lead to the collapse of Nigeria. Nigeria became because Edo fell, Benin fell.
Yes.
If it wasn't, if we go back to history, it was not until our Oba Ovorame joined his ancestor in 1914, Nigeria would not have become what it is.
That's a very big question. I wanted to bring you in here. I know today is not a day for this, but quite a difficult history to comprehend. Oba Ovorame passed on February 1914. Nigeria was amalgamated in February 1914.
Yeah, because when he joined his ancestors, that was when the British government felt they have the legitimacy to do what they did.
And who knows what he was with them? He was under captive. You understand? So they could have done anything to him if he was an obstacle to the creation of the Nigerian state.
No, they couldn't. The British are they're law-abiding people regardless. They know the implication. After that time, he was still a monarch, despite the fact that he was operating from outside of his kingdom. He was in Calabar, but he still has sway in what was happening in the kingdom. But you have to remember, our kingdom then was very, very widespread. It's not confined to the 7 local governments in Edo South that we currently ascribe to it. It went as far as Dahomey, even up to Ghana, up to Asaba, and up to even beyond Lagos to some extent. So it was quite a wide geographical area.
Yes. All right, I did a little bit of that. We'll come back to that very particular topic another day. But today, let's take a look at what is the situation in Edo today. Now we have the APC, like you rightly said at the beginning. I kind of like the rhythm of the guy, but I think he's dead now. I don't think that one is really a clear opposition.
Well, the Labour Party also have their own infractions. They also have their own problems. I think there is also faction within the Labour Party who are not happy with the emergence of uh, the emergence of Oluwapata. The whole issue also has a lot to do with. Sorry, I think I was just trying to get rid of
Yes.
something that came to me, but it's not going away. I'll leave it.
Okay.
They also have their own infighting. They're not united as well. And there is also this idea that the given the unwritten agreement in the state that the Do Central should have produced a candidate, that Oluwapata usurp his position, and there are people like um, Imaswen should have emerged. He was a stronger candidate from Edo Central. If he had emerged as a candidate of Labour, we would have had all the three candidates from Edo Central. Then that would have produced a different dynamics in Edo politics, 2024 politics. But that has not happened. And so that has created a disquiet.
It's like APC is an advantage here from this analysis.
APC was very clever in the sense that initially they had their problem. When their primary came up, you know that and there were a series of intrigues that happened during the primary. First, then it also emerged as the candidate, and they said that primary was inconclusive.
That was the drama.
They went ahead and concluded the primary, and which led to Okwewolo, Senator Omode Okwewolo emerging as the candidate. But what APC did cleverly was that they were.
Is it from Central?
Okwewolo is from Central. Okay. It's from Edo Central. So okay, what they did cleverly was that they now made Denko, Dennis Idahosa, who was the original candidate that was presented, wrongly presented, as the party says. They now had a in-house settlement, and he now emerged as the deputy governorship candidate. That cements the infraction in APC. So as of now,
is the Idahosa not from Edo Central?
Dennis Idahosa is from Edo Central, and
now from Edo Central.
No. Dennis Idahosa is from Edo South.
Oh, Edo South. Okay.
While Okwewo is from Edo Central. Yes. So in a way, that sort of give them a safe landing. Yes. So there is no infraction in APC, so to speak, compared to the other two parties.
All right. Hey, if you're just joining us, don't go away. I am with Dr. Charles Omorodio, and we're taking a good look at what is happening in Edo State. The election is happening in September. Doctor will talk us through that, what we should expect. And I'm just going to take a look at why people should vote. I'm just going to ask him his opinion. But before we do that, let's go on a quick break. Don't go away. Don't touch that button. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than Srtv Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. Srtv goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your Srtv Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience. You can reach us by calling this number 070-6237-9915 or 080-7082-7331.
Welcome back. For those of you who are just joining us, this is Wake Up Nigeria. I am right here with Dr. Charles Omorodio. He has been doing justice to the political dynamics, the situation. the key players in Edo politics. He has talked us through a lot, but we still want to know more. Because right now, Doctor, the election is coming, it's around the corner. How is the future of Edo State in terms of who do you really think? And give us reason why a particular party, because I am not a big fan of the APC. I'm not a big fan of the PDP. Now, the Labour Party have their own issues. Where are we? Where is Edo? Is Edo safe in the hands of these people? Because Obaseki has become a nuisance from what we've been analyzing. And APC from day one, I don't know whether they've done well, but here, are they going to do something different this time? They seem to be able to play the politics well. Doesn't make them good people. Now, Labour, it's gonna be hard because if you're gonna if you're not gonna represent all part of your state, like you rightly said, governors come the south in the name of Benedion. He went to the north, former comrade, and he came back came back straight to the south. Today, we are looking for a middle ground. Let's stay in the middle. Obviously, the Labour Party is not in for that. So where are we in terms of the stability and the progress of the state?
Well, the three main parties that we've identified are APC, PDP, and Labour. These are the three strong parties going into this election. We have about other 18 different political parties.
No,
but the three main ones going into these elections are these three parties. Both parties or these three parties have featured strong candidates. They all have their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
In terms of their pedigree. Yeah. The PDP candidate has strong business and industrial experience. The APC candidate is a homeboy. In other words, he's been in politics in Edo State, so he knows the state in and out. He's a serving senator, so he has contested election in the state, and is very familiar with the terrain, and he's well known in the state. Compared to the PDP candidate, who has never fought an election in the state, who has never won any single election in the state, was relatively unknown until recently. The Labour candidate on its own, he's also got a good pedigree. He's a legal practitioner who has been involved in legal affairs. He has had good position in Nigeria, law. I'm not quite sure what it's called now, but he was the president of the legal professions in Nigeria at one time. So they are coming with different strengths. But he himself as well is a newcomer to Edo politics in the sense that he has never contested for any election before. Relatively unknown compared to the APC candidate. So going into this election, they all have different political pedigree. Yeah. To present.
Doctor, before we actually close this issue, let's look at the disqualification of this PDP candidate. Where is this coming from? How do they do this?
Well, for politics, they say it's an interesting vocation. Sometimes a lot of things happen in politics, and what happened was that, from what we've gathered, the series of cases that has been instituted by PDP candidates and members who were not happy with the way the current governorship aspirant emerged. And one of those was the PDP resort to a form of electoral college.
Okay.
When they were trying to muscle their way through to ensure that Igodaro emerged as candidate. In that process, there were two factions going into the election. There was a faction led by Shaibu. There was another faction led by the governor. As it happened, when it came to accrediting the people that voted in the electoral college, from what we're hearing, it appears that about 378 or so members were deliberately excluded from participating in the election. And so they felt disenfranchised. And as a result, from the court verdict we just heard last week, those people were excluded. And the exclusion, according to the court, goes against the provisions of the PDP constitution and also goes against the provisions of the Electoral Act. So in a nutshell, you cannot erect something on nothing, you know. And so, well, that's your man's in law. You are a legal person.
I hear that, sir. I hear that, sir. I hear that.
You are a legal person.
Yes.
So I'm just a management and a leadership practitioner. But that's where the cross is. So by virtue of that pronouncement, that judgment, we could deduce that PDP, if that judgment were to stand in appeal court, which we know that they're going to appeal it, or they already appealed it, it means that PDP in Ife does not have a candidate going into this election, because the process that brought PDP candidates to the election is flawed, and that's been successfully challenged in the High Court in Abuja, and the High Court has heard in favor of those people that challenged that process. So as it is, because Obaseki was trying to, according to them, was trying to muscle his way through, from what they're saying, it would appear that the candidate ballot was signed by two persons, rather than the number over 300 and something people that signed that particular ballot. So in other words, it is alleged that there's an electoral fraud in the process. So he who goes to equity must do so with clean hands. So that's the marketing, isn't it?
Yes,
but that's the political intrigue in the state. There's been a little bit of disquiet in the PDP camp, and there was a jubilation in the Legacy Party camp when this happened.
Of course, they are the one behind this. They're the one going to come.
You have to also remember, for us to understand the political undercurrent, we need to go back to how Obaseki came to power. There's also another gentleman who was the party chairman at the time, in the name of Barrister Aslem Ojejua, who is also party to some of the legal case in court, because he also felt shortchanged. He served Obaseki well. He was one of those spoilers in APC when Obaseki decamped to PDP. Aslem Ojejua remained as the chairman of APC in order to spoil it for APC. So he worked against the APC from within in order to support his principal Obaseki. So some of those people felt that he is from Edo Central, he is well qualified, he has been a commissioner twice under Igbenedion and under Oshomole. He has been a chairman, so he's a well-respected legal luminary. So he felt that he also needed to have a shot at the governorship, because if he was being zoned to Edo Central, and he's from Edo Central, at least he should have been given the opportunity to contest under a fair level playing field, and he wasn't given that opportunity. So they all challenged the process by which Obaseki, Ami Igodalo emerged. Yes. That is also in court.
It's Obaseki in clone. Anyway, Well, thank you very much, Doctor. You've
Yeah,
given
but
us
there's also another intrigue that is coming up as well, apart from this legal case.
hit it
There's
off.
also a
Yes,
case
sir.
that has been filed by um, his deputy Shaibu,
Okay.
suggesting that Obaseki himself in the should not even be in the race because he forged his electoral card. So he forged INS card. In other words,
Obaseki
he pre-
or the
sorry,
candidate.
Igodalo.
He would
That
have.
at the time Igodalo emerged as a candidate, he presented an INEC card, which he didn't have at the time because recently he went to register for the first time to vote in Edo State. In other words, he has never voted. He has never participated in the state
Election.
politics. So, because it was insider, they knew what happened. So
Yeah.
that's another case that
Another
is
thing
going to
that came
come up.
out now.
So if the court found that he actually forged that particular uh, card, that is
yes.
a ground for outright disqualification. There's a lot of things hanging on the
Doctor,
hair.
somebody said to me, if you don't want to know who date your mama before you marry, don't go into politics. See, look
That's
at the things
everything.
coming out. Look at the
Everything will
rubbish
be
coming
unveiled.
out, man. Oh,
Everything. Yeah. That's why politics is interesting. Even in the Western world where we
it
live,
is. Look at
that's
it.
the way it is.
Look at
Yes.
what happened. Look at what happened with Boris and all this one.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh
We're
yes.
gonna touch a little bit on that before we go. But Mary, now that you join us, young woman, can you just let us take a look at one of the papers? So we said this about it. Let's review one paper with Doctor before we leave. Mary, are you there?
Okay. Yeah, let
Yes.
me
So
take the guidance.
all right, go on.
Okay, the big guidance. Revenue expenditure mismatch. States may sack 600,000 employees to implement minimum wage. And that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper.
Say state
And
may
here we have
sack
a
600,000
yeah,
employees.
state
Good.
may sack 600,000 employees to implement minimum wage.
Okay.
And we have a story also that says NDLEA arrests couple, recovers 2.1 billion naira worth of drugs in Lagos trade. And that story is on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. ECOWAS, Tinubu begins new mandate, tax to return, breakaway states, and that story is on page 6. And we have a story also that says student loan. 115 state-owned institution yet to submit and release data, and that story is on page 5. ICPC intercepts 10 billion of COVID-19 funds in MDA accounts, 100 million in personal accounts, and that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Petrol scarcity lingers in Abuja, queues resurfaces in states, and you can find that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Yeah, we have a story also that says concerns as socioeconomic pressure heightens suicide missions among youth. And that story is on page 4 of the
Okay.
Guardian newspaper. And these are all the stories we have this morning on the Guardian.
Disturbing, disturbing. But let's take a look at this quickly with Doctor. Doctor, the
Right.
states are claiming that they're going to sack 600,000 employees if they have to implement the minimum wage of the stupid. In fact, Doctor, what is your take on this? Is
Well,
this
the fact is that the um, monetary policy that is implemented by the current federal government has created a lot of problems for indigents in the state. We know that the price inflation and we know the cost of living has astronomically uh, tripled over the last 1 year, and so the labor are demanding a fair wage in order to ensure that their members are able to sustain themselves in the light of the current economic reality. That is the bottom line in this particular argument.
yes?
However, having said that, I haven't looked at the statistics myself. So whatever I'm going to say now is based on anecdotal evidence. I don't necessarily think that the state needs to sack 600 employees. I think what needs to happen is that the state needs to readjust their finances and look at ways where they can minimize waste, redirect some of their spendings, and to ensure that the local government, state government staff are looked after. One area, in my view, that the state can look at in order to ensure that their employees are properly remunerated is issue to do with security votes. A lot of that money that is going to security vote, we know that they are not spent on security related issues. Those can be diverted towards the ensuring that the money, the additional minimum wage that is required can be met. That is one aspect. Another aspect is that the state needs to also look at their employees, because we know, unfortunately, again, based on anecdotal evidence and based on ESA, we know that there are a lot of ghost workers in some of these states.
Okay.
And these workers, whether the workers that they have are actually the real workers.
Yes.
And so that will enable them to look at the people that they are paying salaries to and minimize fraud, because there are a lot of fraudulent practice in the system. And above all, labor also need to be realistic. We know the minimum wage as it stands is around 30,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Now they are demanding something more than 150,000. I understand one time it was 300,000. That's ridiculous demand. I understand the cost of living has increased. I understand that public sector workers are not taking home living wage. That is all understood. But it also needs to be realistic in their demand. Otherwise, some of these states will go bankrupt. They will go insolvent. And if a state cannot meet his financial obligation as it falls due, we can also say that that state cannot operate effectively within the meaning of legal definition. So that state becomes either insolvent, bankrupt, as in case of individuals, for want of a word to explain. But I think it's a case of labor being realistic in their demand. And each state by now should have been able to cost specifically. They know the number of staff in their respective states. They know the implications. They should have been able to cost and say, well, this is the recurring expenditure that will emerge as a result of implementing a particular level of minimum wage. And so that when they are talking to us, the public, we are at a point where we are using indices, using stats
Yes.
that are realistic to make informed decisions about the implications of implementing this minimum wage. But you also have to know this is Nigeria. As soon as any minimum wage is announced, you know what's going to happen. It will have a trickle effect across all strata of the economy. The small petty trader will increase their produce, they will increase their products, services will go up in line with the minimum wage increase. Then we're back to where we are at the very beginning. So it's a delicate balance in terms of economics, social and economic policies that this current government have to make. I haven't read the fine details of that Guardian report. So sometimes headlines do not actually capture the essence of the actual article to see the breadth and depth of the analysis of that particular. But it is something that we need to be concerned, because some states will definitely go bankrupt. They will definitely go insolvent.
Yes, doctor, I think you break it down to in a very, very beautiful way. And I really want to reiterate what you just said. You said the state should minimize waste. Thank you. Security votes need to be addressed. Some states are
Seriously.
getting close to 2 point something. My state, let us say, get about 2 point something on security votes. He does nothing with it.
No.
It's up to him. And now, let's look at the viability of our workers. Some of them are ghost workers. We know in my
Yes.
local government, I know how many ghost workers we have there at a point in time. So I'm counting it in. And then you went further to say that labor should be realistic. I'm gonna come there. And this young man here, which I agree with him, he says, "Sir, you may not understand the current situation here. We should be focusing on the extravagant lifestyle of our politicians. That is omitted. It's omitted in your presentation, sir. And finally, and I want you to come back on all this. Finally, how about being productive? You have a state, you have human people. They say they are working. Are they not making money? Doctor, this is what I don't understand. If people goes to work, are their work not just towards making money? From that money, are they not paid? These are the things we'll be asking ourselves as a people. Why will I be using money from oil to pay workers who are doing something for you? Because this money that
Well,
is coming from the federal government is coming from oil money. It's what we use it to pay salaries. Are these
that's
workers
good.
not productive?
Well, I think most of our state needs to be a little bit entrepreneurial,
Thank you, sir.
in the sense that they need to invest in order to save for the future. At the moment, they are not being entrepreneurial. That's where most of our problems comes from. They need to be entrepreneurial. They need to invest in income or rent generating activities. That's one. Then the second point you raised, that are these workers not productive? Public sector's worker by default are meant to produce public goods. They are not meant to produce goods that generate economic activities as such. And so, by virtue of their contract of employment, they are delivering public sector's goods. So they're not in effect like private sectors, that you could say, okay, their productivity will count towards generating excess profit or increasing the income of the particular organization that they work for.
Doctor,
That is one.
doctor, I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish. But let me just take you on this very one. You're gonna say the Ministry of Culture, for instance. All right. Would it be so bad if the Ministry of Culture now becomes another arm of revenue generation for the federal government, or the Ministry of Mining becomes another arm, or Ministry of Agriculture? You saying that these ministries are just there to serve public
No,
purpose,
no.
kind of public purpose?
Well, some ministries, like the ministry, like the one you've just said now, ministries that has to do with mineral extractions, including petroleum and all that. Yes, those ministries, those are the what we rely on, even
and,
to feed
agriculture
the
cannot,
country.
yeah, and agriculture cannot feed us.
But the agriculture tend to be things that are done by private individuals. They tend
But
to be
why
done
should
by
it? The
entrepreneurs
question I'm asking
or
is,
agropreneurs, as they are called.
why should it be so, doctor? That's the thing. See, let me talk of the ministry where I'm more familiar with. We have the Ministry of Information and Culture, the Culture Ministry, for instance. This is where those in the entertainment industry, fall in. And that is the industry that is generating a huge sum of money. We have the Nollywood, the music, and the fashion. They're making a huge amount of money. Can the ministry began to be productive and say, okay, if the federal government is not being able, it's not affording it, how about converting some of our intellectuals or some of our forces into something that can actually yield us some money, so we begin to pay ourselves well?
I think what the ministry, like the ministry you've just identified, what they can do is to create an enabling environment to accelerate entrepreneurial development or activities within this particular industry you've mentioned. It is not within the purview of the federal government to start to fund films for private enterprise as such, so that they can be involved in it. But they
Doctor,
can
so
create, they can create, hang on, let me finish.
yeah, I
But
know.
they can create the environment, they can stimulate the entrepreneurial flair within that particular sector, they can intervene in that sector, as we are seeing being done in the West. to ensure that that industry is sustainable, is able to compete globally with other sectors across the world. They can do that. But when it comes to the government actually going out of its way to invest directly, to compete directly in these sectors, with the new liberal economic programs that is being promoted across the world, it will be difficult for Nigeria to sustain that economic policy. But Nigeria can look at a particular industry and subsidize that industry. That is as the same way it's done by the West, or it's done in the West,
Yes.
in the European community, in America, and all that. Some industry are sustained in order to ensure that it remains competitively viable, or there's sustained competitive advantage in those industry.
Yes,
Because if
doctor.
those industry are left in the hands of the free economic competition, they will not be able to survive.
Yes. And now, doctor, let's take a look at this, because I'm wondering which ministry in Nigeria is actually useless. There's none. If you look at the sport ministry, I was saying to myself, oh, if I have this football stadium and I have this owned by the state, if I have all these people who can actually come out and play football, play table tennis, and make use of this, the sponsorship is there. How can the federal government say, oh, that is an industry that must, that is a ministry that must wait for us to feed them? If we have to feed them, of what economic benefit are they doing the job? The question is, even if they are not the one generating the income, have they created this? Have they stimulated the business in that sector to generate enough tax for the government to pay them? Because doctor, there's two ways to go about it. If the industry is surviving, then tax will be paid, and they will be paid decent amount of money. To say that they
I think
cannot generate money, that's wrong. They may not generate it directly, but if that industry is surviving and they pay taxes, then they can be well paid, doctor.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head when you say that about nurturing a particular sector, using football, for example, as an example,
Yes, sir.
nurturing that sector in such a way that when it becomes sustainable, then the net effect will be that there's increased tax, both
Yes,
from PAYE, from VAT,
yes.
and also profit tax, profit on
No,
tax on profit,
doctor, government have
profit.
some investment there. We have stadium. They pay for the stadium. The stadium is not
Yeah.
used for free. So
What
government
the
cannot say they don't generate income. Then
no,
what I'm trying to say is that yes,
what the government can do is this. The government can look at football, for example, and say, okay, football has become a global phenomenon that is bringing billions of naira, that could bring billions of naira to this to Nigeria. They could start by funding and nurturing grassroots football training and development, such that at secondary school, the talents of the young people are cultivated and nurtured and supported, that they become work class players. They could also invest in our leagues in such a way that the leagues is comparable to what we find in the West. A lot of people are sadly in Nigeria are Chelsea fan, they are Arsenal fan,
thank you,
they are
sir.
Liverpool fan, but
Uh-huh.
they're not even fan of vendor insurance. They're no
No,
fan of any good Rangers. They are no fan of these homegrown this, because those sectors have not been invested in to be
yes.
promoted to that status
And,
where
and that's doctor. And here we see the ministry saying, "Hey, we don't have money to pay ourselves. What are you doing?" I feel like if I'm the federal government, I'll be asking the ministry, "Hey, did you see how much your ministry can make? When you're not doing that, when you go to the office and sit on your fat ass and expect me to pay you bigger salary?"
was those
Yeah.
some ministry have the potentials to
Yes.
add values, economic values to their particular sector. But some ministry, by virtue of what they do, by virtue of the fact that they produce public goods, are not in their own establishment
Doctor,
capable
let us
of
begin to
generating
inject it
income.
in their DNA. Because if we look at, look, I'm not talking of few ministries. So if we look at the sport ministry, for instance, they can be in charge of competition. They can attract sponsorship better than me. The ministry
That's
can
true.
attract. In fact, even in entertainment, they can. They don't need to. They don't necessarily need to participate in it, but they can generate sponsorship. And that some of these,
Let me give
yeah,
you an example. In UK, for example, in the
yeah,
film industry,
yeah.
government bankroll some of these blockbusters films.
That's it.
And the reason they do it is that when those films becomes very, very successful, they gross billions or millions of pounds or dollars.
Come back to
And
them.
once they are successful, they then pay back to government by way of tax on the profit
Yes.
that they generate. That's one way of looking at it, that you are investing now to save for the future. That policy is called invest to save policy. You invest today with a view that tomorrow the outcome of your investment will generate surplus income over expenditure, and everyone is laughing. But that needs the government to take a futuristic view into the way they see certain sector. Some sectors are income generating sectors. Those sectors needs to be promoted. For example, we know the music sectors, the film sectors, and some of these cultural industries can lead to can create multiplier effects on
Yes.
other sectors. Tourism
Doctor,
is another aspect that we could invest
Doctor,
in.
let's look at education, man. Doctor, let's look at the medical sector. If Nigeria begin to train medical professionals, look at the needed around the world. How can they say
But
that
the
we know
problem with
education?
medical sector is that
Education.
it's good to train doctors. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of brain drain medical sectors.
The question
We've
is,
trained them, and these sectors have left. These people have left the sectors to greener pastures overseas,
yes,
and
why?
that creates another problem. It means that we've invested in these talents, and we are not getting the benefits from these talents.
But doctor,
What we could do,
on the long run, I think it's not a loss, because if the person, if a Nigerian goes out, he's somewhere working, the income come back to Nigeria. There is
it
another
doesn't.
clever way to look at it.
No, it doesn't in actual
It
sense.
does. It does.
Unless the people are
Doctor,
philanthropics.
doctor, how
Yeah,
much do
unless,
you spend? How much have you spent back home in your time in the UK?
yeah, but that is my own personal. I understand what you are saying by way of
Yes, that's totally
remittance,
fair.
but remittance.
You just said it. Our remittance alone is contributing how much? So if that is a way of empowering the Nigerian, I'm just talking of one sector. I'm using education as an instance.
No,
Medicine.
I think what we can do in that sector is to model the Philippines approach.
Yeah.
The Philippines sees nurses and doctors as part of their export services
That's it.
overseas.
That's it. That's what the doctor
So
said.
they train them, and
For
export them to different countries. And in
Exactly.
return, they are generating income from that process.
Thank
So
you, sir.
this kind of systematize that sector. So if
Thank you.
that's what you are saying, in
That's what
that
I'm saying,
sense,
sir.
yeah, that makes sense. But
In fact, a candidate, doctor, a candidate of one of the candidates during the last Delta State election, the guy actually said he's going to convert all the all the general hospitals. He's going to turn them to teaching hospitals. That he's going to produce nurses and doctors for export. If they go up, they're
Yeah,
going to
that's
bring money
fine.
back to the state. Doctor, you can't get it wrong. If the people have money, if I have money, my family cannot be hungry at home. It's an African thing, so we
I
cannot.
understand. But you also need to factor in the investment that is required to train some of these practitioners. It takes a number of years, a lot of investment. If we just train them and spot them, and our homegrown hospitals are suffering, we have to look at those as well. I understand in some states,
Some will stay, doctor. Some states, and in fact, I agree with you, but some will stay. Doctor, look at in fact that aspect of it. I believe in the human power, that empowerment alone. When you empower one, he's here, he's doing something. He comes back. Sometimes he comes back with connections. He comes back with resources. He comes back with more knowledge. When they go
Yes.
out to tap on the, so there's a lot of advantage that you can't get it
I,
wrong. How about
I
leaving them
think
and they become criminals? They
I
become
think what we need to do when it comes to health service, we should emulate the Philippines.
all right.
When
And
it comes to new technology, we know that these days IT is becoming center stage. We
thank you,
should
sir.
emulate what the Indian did. Indian
Indians will talk.
created
Thank you.
they created an opportunity for themselves. Now they literally lead almost all the IT firms across the world. They export IT to the
And
rest of the world. They
doctor, IT
invested in
is
that
coming to
sector.
them at home. Doctor, when I call now, Talk is my provider. When I call, the person talking to me is in India.
That's
They
what
were
I'm saying.
expecting the job back home. So what? See, and that is the power of education. I'm not talking of a sector, doctor. Tell me which sector of the Nigerian economy, of the Nigerian ministry that cannot be productive. And if that is the case, how can they not be making money?
Well, they
Because
can be productive, but some sectors, by virtue of the fact that they are public goods are supposed to be there to provide
identify
those
one, doctor.
services that
Identify one,
that
doctor.
the private
Identify
sectors
one.
are not supposed to be interested in. You
Yes.
know, there are a
We
lot of
understand
them. There are a lot of them.
that.
We, for example, in some health sectors that are where we feel that if the private sectors were to monopolize those areas, they will be seeking a lot of rent, and as a result, that will
Money.
affect the population or the general public, because we might not be able to afford commercial rates for those particular service.
Yes,
So
sir.
it is incumbent on the government to mitigate that particular risk by providing public goods. Private and publics are supposed to operate in tangent. There's nothing wrong with that. I think what we need to do as a country is to identify those sectors where we have competitive advantage and build on those sectors
Thank you, sir.
and use them as part of our export as our export product, and ensure that we develop our GDP in line in those particular area. I think what we need to do, because this is a very interesting topic, we're looking at it globally and
Yes, sir.
holistically, but maybe in a future program we
We'll take
zero in on sector by
no,
sector
thank you,
and
sir.
dissect
That's
this
what I'm going to do
sector,
with you. Yes, sir.
bring out do some sort of SWOT analysis in this particular sector, and look at the how these sectors can be amplified to add values to the economy, or to help this sector to generate GDP. For example, tourism is one area that we have not tapped into at all.
When you don't mention the Oba, what happened in the Oba, the palace, and all that,
Yeah,
the big history that is untapped.
yeah, that is on tap. But however, we need to sort our security situation, because tourists strive in a secure environment. You
Agreed.
cannot attract people to your country to come and spend their money if they feel that by coming to the country, their lives and properties are not secured.
If I am
So
not
we need,
feeling safe, me that is from them, I'm not feeling safe. How can
yeah.
someone else go
So
there?
we need to look at those. So we need to address those issues. But
Agreed.
tourism, countries like Barbados, countries like Antigua, they live purely on tourism.
Agreed.
They live purely on tourism. They generate their GDP purely on tourism, because they don't have the sort of natural resources that we are fortunate to be endowed with in our country.
Doctor, before we leave, and I know we're almost 2 hours on the show today, I want to look at the student finance, which Mary read. Mary, you you said student loan, 115 state-owned institution yet to submit enrollment data. You see, but what's your stake? I'm not going to look at the current situation. What are
Well,
you?
the problem with Nigeria is that as much as I respect the current federal government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the problem with us is that we are not bereft of good ideas, but we lack depth when it comes to implementation. When you are going to implement things like student loan and all these other big projects, there needs to have been series of um, research done to identify where these problems are going to come from, and steps should have been taken to ensure that those area that has been identified through feasibility studies are plugged. Um, Unfortunately, in Nigeria, every loan that has been done before, taking into consideration, for example, Bender State, the default Bender State, when, or not even just Bender State, it was MPN's led state in those days when they rolled out free education. And
It was UPS, sir, not
UPN,
MPN.
sorry, UPN, when UPN, sorry for that correction, when
Yes.
UPN rolled out free education,
MPN never wanted it. Yeah.
good policy, helped a lot of people who would not have gone to university and go to secondary school to obtain those level of education. But you also have to look at the flaws in the implementations of these policies. You also have to look at, unfortunately for us, why some people are working hard to bring about these policies that will benefit the general public. Other people are also working hard to see how they can siphon the money from this policy into their private pocket. That is unfortunately part of our cultural fabric. I don't think uh,
It's
I
not part
don't
of,
think
are you
we
saying
have
it's not
done
part of the
enough
DNA?
systematic analysis
Okay.
on how to implement this policy. I think this policy was rushed through because we needed to fulfill our electoral promises. I think we needed to look at putting the structure in place that will effectively manage this program. I think it was a mistake to situate them with state government. We should have created, like they are doing in UK. UK have student finance. Student finance is not run by the government. It's run by another agency entirely that are accountable. And when this is done, you will find that there's better transparency in the way these particular programs are managed.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Every time I listen, anyway, I am with Doctor Chasomoro. He's expected to be sound. He's not, I'm not surprised. He is who he is. Anyway, thank you very much, Doctor. Uh,
Pleasure.
I think we've got a lot. We've picked a lot from this today. The student loan is something that is well conceived, but perhaps it could be
Implementation.
better managed or maybe implemented, managed by a private sector who will do this independently, but with the direct supervision of the government, and
Yeah.
that would have get good a good result, because the student loan is, if you take this loan when you graduate and you are earning a particular amount of money which is guaranteed by the government, you will be paying back. If you don't pay back, it's not a problem, because the government is happy that you have been trained and you are in that position to be helped to be useful to society. I think it's a win-win, and it's something I really applaud the government for.
It's a
But again,
win-win, and they also need to learn from the UK student loan program. The student loan program in UK is helping a lot of people to go to university, but the flaws in the system is that a chunk of that money will never be paid back. Take UK for example.
mm,
Unless you start earning, I think the last I count was about 28,000. It used to be around 23,000.
28 and above, yeah, 28 and
Yeah,
above.
if unless you start earning 28,000 pound a year, you are not obligated to pay back the student loan.
Yes, sir.
So, which means the student loan that is being bankrolled by the government, I will say a third, if not 75% of that loan may or will never be paid back.
But doctor, the money does not come back in cash. It comes back in the human empowerment. Because somebody
Yes.
that has gone through the university has a different skill. He can then create, unknown to him.
Yeah, but the thing is
There's
that
something the
the
university
idea,
does.
I understand what you're saying,
Yes, sir.
but according to the vision behind the student loan is that those who are earning higher income, when you send somebody to university
Mhm.
in UK, the expectation is that they earn high degree, and
Yes,
that high degree will put them in a upper income bracket.
that's
And
true.
as such, once they are in the upper income bracket, they are in effect paying enough
Uh,
PAYE, which is
right.
pay as
Eh,
you earn or pay as you go income tax.
yes, sir.
That in it means that in effect your money that you've been invested in you is not coming back into the economy. As
True.
long as we have a high proportion of these people at the higher income bracket, that
Yes.
is fine. They'll be paying about 40%, 35%, or 20 something percent PAY back to the state.
Yes.
But if you have a chunk of these people any below the income threshold where they are going to be paying the higher income threshold, your investment will not yield the
Anything.
desired result.
Agree.
I'm not knocking the student loan. I think it's a good idea. We're giving it to people who otherwise will not be able to afford higher education. And we know that education is part of the development of any country.
Yes.
A well educated citizen are more productive citizens. There are countless research that has proven that. We don't have any issue with that. But what we are saying is that affordability of this loan is something that we need to look at, of this particular program. The UK is an advanced country, a very rich country. They are even struggling implementing this particular program. But the default rate among students who have graduated over the years is astronomically high. So the student loan not properly managed, again, in a couple of years' time, is going to be facing a lot of financial difficulty. But let's leave that for the future generation to deal with. But for now, the Nigeria situation is that the implementation is a learning curve. They're just starting it now. They're rolling it out. Over the years, they will learn from the actual operation of this loan, and they will start tightening where there are loose ends, and such that this particular policy is implemented for the benefit of those that they were targeted at. It's a good idea from the government. It shows that the government is keen on developing the human capital of Nigeria. It's keen that they want to ensure that we have a skilled workforce for the future that will be able to compete with the rest of the world. But the implementation needs to be looked at. The people that are appointed to manage this particular policy needs to be based on intelligence, not on party patronage. Often what we find is that the sad part of our political dispensation is that we appoint people to lead this sort of parastatals and these institutions who have no clue about what they are doing. And that means that the operational effect of these particular policies do not always yield the desired result. I hope that the Tinubu government is learning from the experiences from others who have done similar things. And I'm also hoping that those who are saddled with this responsibility are reaching out to other countries where similar policies have been implemented and using the experiences from those countries to inform their own implementation, such that it's a win-win policy, like you said earlier on.
Thank you very much, Doctor. In fact, anytime I have you, I always, I'll come here ready, because sometimes you take me where I cannot be. Thank you so much for
my pleasure.
For this wonderful time. And the young man said, yes, wow, he's a doctor. And Kai, yeah. All right, I'm just going to say some of the things the young man is saying. Good. Appointing people who don't have a clue. Doctor, you said it all, and thank you for this wonderful insight. Like I always say, the student loan, I believe, this is what I say sometimes. The government don't even need to get some of this money back. But just because I have a particular skill, it's in me. Somehow I will use it. I will use it for the benefit of the society. You see, that is why it's better than having them staying around, becoming Yahoo boys, becoming nuisance, and actually kidnappers, and sometimes becoming Boko Haram and kidnapping us.
I think the issue of Yahoo boys is another thing we can look at. Yahoo boys and kidnappers.
Yes.
If you have a society that is investing in education, without a commensurate effort to grow the industry where these people are going to work, what do you think is going to happen?
They're going to use the skill somewhere.
That's it. You have a very savvy, youthful population with skill, and those skills are just dying away. What's the point in investing? Education is an investment, and the only way the society and the people that invest in these young people can reap the benefit of their investment is that we need to have a commensurate effort to grow our industry, to invest in our industry, in our companies, to absorb these people once they graduate from school. So both needs to go pari passu. They needs to be synchronized in such a way that we're investing in education, we are bringing a lot of people out of education system on a yearly basis, graduating, going through their NYSC and all that. When they finish, we need to ensure that our industry is thriving such that it can absorb them and do that. Like they said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. A young man that is working from 7:30 in the morning to 5 p.m. in the evening at work, what time will he have to be doing Yahoo? No time. So it's also a factor of a society.
Yes, he has a family to deal with. He should get married. That kind of sentiment. There's a speech, and it's good for every one of us. So this is what we're saying, Doctor. So we need to get the industries to be up.
Of course, we need to stimulate the industry. If Tinubu can invest in industry, there are two good industry now that we know. The creative industry is there, that's yielding a lot of money. It can bring a lot of money into the country. We also looked at the IT. IT has become the next gold mine. We're talking about artificial intelligence, AI, cloud computing, drone technology, and big data. These are areas that is going to become the next income generating industry. And we need to, we're very lucky that we have youth. Our youth, sometimes when I engage them, even though I'm based abroad, and I see how savvy they are in this technology, I say, oh my goodness, we need to be able to harness these creative talents and put them to good use. We just need investment. You know, our politicians shouldn't be stealing money and taking it overseas. Steal the money. I'm not encouraging them to steal the money, but invest it in that country.
Thank you very much. That's it. I always say you can take, because you don't own money, you only control it. You can steal it, but please invest it. And ability, doctor, do you know that in fact Hollywood was built on drug money, but they invested the money in Hollywood, and today money is beyond them. It's beyond their investment. So if you steal money and you invest it in these sectors we are talking about, in fact, doctor, will it be so bad if people like Dino Milayo, who is going around, I see him walking to the cars, the number of cars, if he can just sell those cars and use those money.
I think people like that, they are educated illiterates. That's the way I regard them.
No, I call them village fools.
They are clever, but they are clever and at the same time unintelligent.
They are village
fools. How can you invest in a car? You invest in all these cars. We know cars. As soon as you buy a car, the value depreciates. Even brand new car in UK, brand new car. If I buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz for £45,000, for example, and I drive that car out of the showroom, 30 minutes time, I take the car back to the showroom, it would have depreciated 10%.
Exactly.
So what's the point? Your investment in assets that are not appreciating in values.
No, but it's a village fool.
Assets that are redundant, assets that are unproductive, and you say you are rich? No, you are educated illiterate.
Thank you. I call them village fools. And those are the things we're talking about. If that fool just convert the money into farming, and we will be happy with him. You have the biggest farm, we'll work for you. We're happy. I say to people like Ibori, you have so much money, come to my village. Hey, turn the place.
It's not even that. One of those cars, just sell that car, invest it in your place. Imagine the amount of employment you're going to generate.
That's what I'm saying.
And how that employment will cross-fertilize the rest of the sector.
Now you said it, doctor. So you see, it's not what I'm saying is, if I can convince these guys, these boys who have stolen our money, or who have said they've made money, I don't care how you made it, but you know how you made it, it's not right. But we're not even after that now. But please, can you be so well and invest it? Go to your village, start from there. Because if these villages are if there are good jobs produced there, we'll be well to do. Doctor, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I hope to have you more on this, and I'm going to have a show, especially with Doctor, right here on this show.
I look forward to it.
Yes, thank you, sir. All right, that's where we end the show today. My name is Adi Chris, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. This is the only time you see me spending 2 hours, 13 minutes without knowing, because I have Doctor with me. And I hope you enjoy the show. Please, I will always say, Nigeria is the only country we have. I started this show with a message from the Bible that together, when we come together, the only time we came together, even God could not defeat us. God was careful. He said we have to find a way to handle these people. If we come together as a people, there's nothing we cannot do. It's not about you, because you alone, you fail all the time. Alone, I have failed. How about thinking well? They say, okay, let's come together and strike with one mighty blow. What am I saying? Let's address the issue of insecurity together. If a community will come together and pay some set of people to guide us, to secure us, we'll be more secure, and it will be cheaper. I always say to people, if you want to buy Coca-Cola alone, you're going to spend maybe 500 naira. But if we go to the factory and we put one together and bring it to Coca-Cola and we share it, we'll end up paying 200 naira. And there will still be more profit, and we'll be creating jobs among ourselves. Let us do that. Let us use that mentality. It is a shame also, to follow what Doctor said finally, it's a shame that our politicians are not seeing good things. Dino Melaye, that is parading himself with all those cars, how about him seeing ShopRite? Dino, did you see ShopRite? It's owned by a fool like you. But he has done well. He has created jobs. Would it be so bad if Dino have ShopRite? What do you have, Dino, other than the money you stole and the cars you are driving? And the next thing, your job is politics. You're going to run for governor. The same is all these fools. Next time, Dino, I'm happy you're not driving private jet. But has been our narrative. Doctor said that has been our story. But our story might change if me and you begin to think differently. So that is where I end the show today. My name is Daddy Chris, and thank you all for joining me. Don't worry, my show is not always pleasant, so you don't want to hear what you want to say. But like I always say, if you don't believe in Nigeria, get out. It's the only country we have, because that's where my children are going to live, and they're going to rule the land. Thank you for joining me. Stay out of trouble. Bye.
Hooray! All is set for the second edition of the Nigerian Week London 2024. Another blend of art and culture, entertainment, business and networking activities, showcasing the best of the Nigerian music, dance, crafts, fashion and businesses. Taking place at the Gillette Square / Voltage Jazz Club, Daston, London. Postcode N168AZ. Date 28 July 2024. Tickets are available on eventbrite.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit superiorradioandtelevision.com. Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or call +440745951361 or +442036328755. Come and experience the nation's culture that resides in the heart and in the soul of its people. Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than Srtv Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. Srtv goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your Srtv Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience.
Srtv.